Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of J Flash Sports Talk. This episode is going to be about the recap of the Week 1 NFL games. A lot of surprises in this one. A lot of upsets. Not a lot. Just a couple. First in which, Thursday night, the Kansas City Chiefs. This was not an upset against the Houston Texans, as they were favored to win, and they did, 34-20. Patrick Mahomes, rightfully so, threw 3 passing touchdowns, 252 passing yards. And how about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 136 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. Very impressive in his rookie campaign. I look forward to seeing more of him in next week and weeks to come. I wish he was on my fantasy team. Next up, we got the Seattle Seahawks. Someone who is on my fantasy team, Russell Wilson, who had the fewest incomplete passes out of any quarterback this week. He went 31 of 35, 4 passing touchdowns, led his team 38-25 over the Atlanta Falcons. Todd Gurley did have a touchdown on this one and 56 yards rushing. Also, 157 receiving yards on 9 catches for Julio Jones. He had a lot of tough grabs. Next, we got the New York Jets falling close to the Buffalo Bills, 27-17. Josh Allen did have 2 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. Way to go, Bills. Next up, the Chicago Bears were down in this one against the Detroit Lions all 3 quarters, and they came back late in the game at the last second to win 27-23. Very happy to see that from Mitchell Trubisky. He wasn't playing good all game, and then they came back and threw 3 passing touchdowns. Staying in that same division, we got the Green Bay Packers going to Minnesota to face the Vikings and beating the Vikings 43-34. Aaron Rodgers had 4 passing touchdowns, 2 in which to Devontae Adams, and Aaron Jones had 1 rushing touchdown. Minnesota did make it interesting late in the game as they countered their Green Bay touchdowns, but fell up short. Next up, we got the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. They definitely are missing Tom Brady, but they came out victorious in this one, 21-11. I think a lot of people were expecting the Patriots to blow out the Dolphins, as they have the last 10 or 12 years. But, hey, a win's a win. Great job, Belichick. Especially considering they have 4 defensive Pro Bowl starters, and out due to COVID-19, who opted out. Next up, one of our upsets, the Washington football team is 1-0 as they defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 27-20. Carson Wentz, he was playing good. Eagles started off 17-0 and fell off in the 4th quarter. Washington did hold their own. I was definitely impressed. I definitely take back what I said in episode 1, where I thought they were going to be the worst football team in 2020. They may not. They may surprise us. All right, next up, we got the Oakland Raiders, who defeated the Carolina Panthers in a shootout. How about Josh Jacobs, 3 rushing touchdowns? Christian McCaffrey did have 2 rushing touchdowns. And Robbie Anderson with that long 79-yard bomb from Teddy Bridgewater. But they came up short. Still, they held their own offensively. I don't know what they were doing defensively, which they couldn't stop anything the Raiders were throwing at them. But the Las Vegas Raiders are 1-0. Another upset next up, Jacksonville Jaguars over the Indianapolis Colts. Marlon Mack got hurt in this game. We'll see if he's going to be out for the season. That's great news for Jonathan Taylor, as he did break off a 35-yard rushing. It wasn't a touchdown, but he was down at the 2 of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, it was a strong run and good things to come from the rookie from Wisconsin. Philip Rivers did have 363 passing yards, 1 touchdown. He was driving late in the game, could have tied the game in this one, but came up short. Tough Jacksonville defense. Next, I think we all expected this one. The Baltimore Ravens routed the Cleveland Browns 38-6. Lamar Jackson threw 3 touchdown passes, and one in which to Marquise Brown, as Marquise Brown had 5 catches for 101 yards. Baltimore Ravens 1-0. Great job. I was kind of disappointed because my RB2 was Mark Ingram. J.K. Dobbins came in and had 20 fantasy points because he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Didn't have too many rushing yards, though, but it's a strong showing for the rookie. That could hurt Ingram's fantasy status in the coming weeks. I hope not. I hope Mark Ingram bounces back next week, but we shall see. Next up, we got the LA Chargers beating the Cincinnati Bengals in a close one, 16-13. As they won, actually, I thought the Cincinnati Bengals were going to tie the game and go into overtime, but their kicker, Bullock, missed a chip shot inside the 20. Or I think it was right around the 20. He pulled a hamstring when he kicked it. Tough break for the for any kicker, actually. Hopefully he's not hurt too bad and he comes back and proves his worth to the Cincinnati Bengals. The new look Cincinnati Bengals, by the way. Joe Burrow did show much leadership this week in week 1. I can't wait to see more of him in the coming weeks. I definitely think the Bengals will have more than 2 wins this season. I'll give them about maybe 5, 6. Not a playoff team yet, but they're getting there. They got a lot of captains and stuff from college that were on the top college football teams that are now starting on the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals. So they have a good young team. And A.J. Brown proved he's healthy. He was a valuable target for Joe Burrow. Next up, we got the game of the week, which was the New Orleans Saints hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. Tom Brady came up short in this one, but he had an all-in-all decent game. He had 239 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. New Orleans Saints defense got the best of them. They had a couple late game interceptions, or 1 interception and a fumble, and that was enough. Saints 1-0. Great job, Sean Payton. Next up, another upset here. We got the Arizona Cardinals defeating the San Francisco 49ers, defending NFC champion. Kyler Murray had 91 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. Also, DeAndre Hopkins threw for caught 151 receiving yards for 14 catches. No touchdowns. He almost did. He came up short. They reviewed it. He was like maybe a hand short of the goal line. All good. You'll get a touchdown next week, DeAndre. Good job, buddy. Congrats to Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Great upset. I'd say that's my upset of the week. Next up, we got Sunday Night Football. The Rams hosting the Dallas Cowboys, as the Rams came up victorious in this one, 20-17. It was a strong defensive showing for the Rams. Jared Goff did have 1 interception, no touchdowns. he did throw for 275 passing yards. Zeke Elliott came up with 96 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown as they fell up short. Robert Woods also had 105 yards receiving on 8 catches. Over to Monday night. Last night, my New York Giants came up short, 26-16 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tough defense. T.J. Watt, that entire defensive line, and the corners, oh my God. They made it very difficult for Daniel Jones. However, Daniel Jones did have 2 passing touchdowns, 26 of 41 passing for 279 passing yards. The downside in the Giants was Saquon Barkley, who had an all-time low in rushing yards. I'm not even going to repeat what he had because it's not what I expected him to have. But tough defense, can't win them all. We'll see what we could do next week when we bounce back. Finally, in the last of the doubleheader on Monday night, the Tennessee Titans won a close one against the Denver Broncos in Denver in that tough mile-high air as they won 16-14. Derrick Henry, 116 rushing yards, no rushing touchdowns, came close a couple times. They gave it to him 3 out of 4 times on the goal line, one of their red zone showings, but came up short. That Denver defense, Chubbs on the defensive line, is tough, man. Even without Von Miller out for the year, this is still a good defense. All right, that's it for the Week 1 highlights and recap in the NFL. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys either Wednesday or Thursday for next up, Week 2. Football's back, baby. I can feel it's cooler outside, and fall is upon us. Let's make this football season great. Have a good day.